Yeah, welcome to a Wednesday Energy Talk here on Skype Live. My name is Jona Bryndis, and once a month I do this energetic tune-up session, which is a group-based session in which I reflect on the incoming energies of the next month. Obviously, collective energies don't work in calendar months, but they do affect us, and we all know this. And so, as we have created this mental construct of months, yeah, we all have to navigate this, and we make new plans, maybe, or new to-do lists. And as I am working with these incoming energies for August 23, I wanted to give you a little preview. This energetic tune-up session is tomorrow night, Thursday, the 27th. You can sign up for it on my website. There I reflect in depth on these next 4 to 6 weeks and can give you feedback as to how that is influencing your personal energy. Those of you in the Energetic Training Club, the 30-day energy training pass, you have that automatically. You automatically signed up for that, so you don't need to worry about it. So we are at this point in this age here, in something that I have called bifurcation before. So bifurcation is when there is sort of a decisive moment where someone, or in our case, entire humanity, has to make a choice, has to choose which way to go. And other than just inflection points where, there's sort of, okay, so let's explore this or let's explore that. Bifurcations are a little more finite, which means that they bring you onto a timeline, that takes much longer to sort of walk all the way to the end, if you will. Okay, and this walking, on our journey, like following a certain impulse, is something that, is coming in very, very strongly for us for decades already. And it's getting to this place here now in August, interestingly. And don't freak out now. I'm not saying, oh, it's urgent and you have to make a choice now. No, it kind of is, but it is not. It's about you becoming more aware of those choices. There are, these forces that work within us, that on one hand, works through these spiritual impulses that we have, that kind of tell us through our heart that there is almost like a nourishment through talking and feeling into these spiritual matters. And then there is an impulse in us that drives us into the gravity of 3D, into the gravity of paying our bills and taking care of our bodies. And many of us have still not figured out how to balance this out. Now, the point isn't that we become the most spiritual person in the world or the most 3D person in this world. So it's not about conquering and moving into the highest level of either or. The purpose of us being exposed to these different impulses is to find the right balance, is to find that sort of harmonic place in between where we don't really need to worry too much, where we can feel in peace about these two impulses, this material impulse and the spiritual impulse, working in harmony with us. And when we go too far into one end or too far into the other end, that's when we experience confliction. That's when we experience a form of stuckness, because even though we might be able to, gather more money, which drive us deeper into the physical, the 3D impulse, or if we are, on the other hand, able to gather more spiritual knowledge, which will drive us into the spiritual impulse, it is, after all, only making sense for us and really enriching us through feeling personal growth, through feeling that we can make meaning of what it is that we're doing, if we can keep both of these impulses in balance within ourselves. Yeah, and what this means in plain language is that no matter what material riches, yeah, we may think we need to accumulate, no matter how much spiritual knowledge we think we need to accumulate, if those don't come together in us and form something like a common sense, like an application in our daily life, in our daily sentiment, in our daily thoughts, in our daily feelings about ourselves and others, in our daily intentions, then we are in the process of bifurcating. We're in the process of splitting up. And this happens on a microscopic level, microcosmic level, as well as a macrocosmic level. This is something that as someone who studies the spiritual world, it's very easy to see how everything in the small is actually just a reflection of the bigger. And in order to make better choices, in order to not get just pulled into this one direction, say, it is important to zoom out and see the larger picture. Take the higher vantage point, yeah, that then allows us to feel something like balance. Now, most of us do not feel balance. Most of us are tortured by imbalance, and imbalance, yeah, on all these different levels of ourself, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, or energetic, always plays out in stuckness, in this inner conflict. Now, when we are stuck, that means that we are sort of caught between two things. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Now, stuckness is when we feel this and we feel that, and we can't really make a decision. And August energies, guys, they will illuminate this for us. They will show us exactly what it is that we are stuck in. Now, how does this come about, and why is this, significant here moving into the next 4 to 6 weeks? Well, first of all, and this has to do with the larger perspective, August is a month that has 2 full moons. Most of you may not be fond of, making themselves depend on things such as astrology or lunar cycles, but the truth of the matter is, and this is something that we can all observe, that there are some forces that influence us that come in rhythmic form. August is a month with 2 full moons. The first day of August is a full moon, and the last day of August is a full moon. So if we want to move into the larger perspective here, we need to understand what the purpose is in regard to these forces that I'm talking about. A full moon illuminates that which is normally not visible. And psychologically, it shows us our unconscious, all the things that we are not fully aware of. And in that, August has an interesting purpose. And that it gives us the opportunity to do this twice within a 29-day cycle. Yeah, so full moons can be quite heavy because in those times, not only do we feel this, through the agitation of other people, so fire departments and police departments know that, those are the full moon times are the times of increased car accidents and violence between peoples because of this sudden illumination of what we were unaware of. It becomes very heavy. And the purpose of a full moon is obviously not to get stuck in that heaviness, to get stuck in that force, into that desperation, but to clear ourselves, to purify, to, remove all that is keeping us in that heavy state. Okay? And as we are having 2 opportunities for this in August, I can predict that we are going to look at a very interesting month overall, for our societies. Because this does not just work on our personal level, this also works on, the macrocosmic, meaning our societies, politics, overall developments in our world. So that's something you need to get ready for, because the energies of August are asking us to self-correct. So this is basically the positive side of that. The good news about this opportunity to clear things out is that we have these moments where we can see our own darkness, if you will, with absolute clarity. And this may sound a little scary because most of us still feel that our inner darkness is somewhat like a badness. Like we associate dark with bad. However, if you just look at it as, well, there is an absence of light there. There is not enough illumination. There's not enough of something. Okay, so the logical step is obviously then to bring more light into darkness. We have 2 opportunities to do that this month, and to self-correct, which frames in these next 4 weeks, 5 weeks, into a theme. That theme is more conscious decision making and letting go of the conflicts that are holding us in that stuck place. And this can be very different for each and every one of us. That's why I do these tune-up sessions where people who sign up for it can not only experience this themselves, but also get the feedback from me through reading their energy field and saying, okay, this is what is holding you stuck. This is what you need to work with. It's not a prediction. It's not a clairvoyant impression. It is me reading out your energy field as to which forces are working in you. And as we go forward here into the month, I will probably with the forecast illuminate these different forces, these different conditions, that pull us either into this heavy, dark place where we get stuck either between the material or the spiritual, and the conditions that we need to aim at, that can liberate us from that can lead to us being able to see this more clearly and make healthier, more loving, more truthful, more integrous choices in life. So this all sounds a bit heavy, and I don't really need to predict this because you already know that it's heavy, because you can all feel this. There would be no point in me just saying, oh, it's all fine, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. I know that not everything is going to be fine, right? And if you've tuned into some of the forecasts that I've made years ago for the next decade, well, you know what the task is, yeah, by going through all this. Knowing the task of your inner confliction or facing your inner confliction, yeah, illuminating that which is unconscious, making the unconscious conscious, yeah, gives meaning and purpose to it. And as soon, and this is the trick, guys, this is something that you really, really need to internalize and maybe meditate over or contemplate. As soon as you can feel purpose in going through something, no matter how much you hate having to go through something, no matter how much resistance you have, how much you don't want to go through a certain experience, as soon as you know why you have to go through the experience, it shifts the energy. And you recognize that what it is that you need to aim at is not removing or getting rid of that which plagues you in the moment, but that which lies beyond, facing that. Sorry. The purpose of making the unconscious conscious, guys, is to know what it is that you must face. And now your ego probably says, yeah, but I don't want to face that. Why should I face that? We all have a different task. We all have a different thing to face that can help us to grow beyond our limitations. In simple words, we call this growth. Yeah, that can help us to grow. So coming back to the beginning of this talk, why did I start out with bifurcation? Yeah, the split of something. Well, that has to do with the larger forces and how they work on our planet altogether. And that is that our natural, sort of, if you will, God-given or nature-given impulse is to grow. Yeah. We can't prevent ourselves from evolving, not as an individual nor as a collective. But if, and this, you could apply this to a company, to a country, to a couple, or to an individual person, if an individual chooses not to grow, mostly unconsciously, because if you would ask people, if you had the choice to grow or not to grow, most people will say they want to grow. But if the conditions within them are such that they are so conflicted and stuck, that they refuse to look at what it is that needs to be overcome, then they're unconsciously choosing not to grow. And when an entity, an energy, a person, a company, a relationship chooses not to grow, it begins to devolve. Yeah, so when we choose, consciously or unconsciously, to not grow, to not evolve, then we are, in fact, choosing to devolve. This is a very important message here because we can all observe this in our daily lives. So what are these forces, unconscious or conscious, mostly unconscious, that can drive us into choosing not wanting to grow? Anybody know? It's a question to you. You can witness this within yourself. What are the forces that work within you that can keep you from wanting to go? That can keep you from just following your natural path of constant striving and constant growing into your higher potential. What in you works against that? That's a force, guys. Become aware of that force. Make the unknown known so that you know what it is that you need to work with, that you need to face, so that you can continue to grow. What is that force in you? We talk a lot about it. You all know it. You can all experience it every day. What is the force in you? And maybe you're getting a little confused when I say force, because you're thinking of devil or something like that. Think of it in a simpler way. The nature of fear. What other kinds of fear, or properties do you know? Have you come in touch with that work in you through fear? Yes, the fear of dying. Why the fear of dying? Why do we have a fear of dying, guys? Ask these questions. That's how the forces of life, that's how the force of growth and evolution works in you. Through asking questions. All right. So, is this hard for you? Is this a difficult process for you right now?
For me, it's mostly because it's a little difficult to, I think it's a little difficult to see.
I mean, to see? Okay, it's the unconscious.
No, that's, mostly it's, I don't know if it's something with the language, but it's also, I think it's mostly I just can't follow what you mean, or with the force. I was just sitting and thought, what do you mean? I can't exactly.
All right, so that is the force of darkness working in you. Okay. What does she mean? I don't know what she means. Oh, it's the language. I can't really speak in English that well. Oh, I can't really.
Yeah, maybe it's such.
Yeah, because it's the fear of the unknown. You nailed it. Okay. Yeah, it's maybe, like I'm asking, what's the fear of dying? These questions, you need to ask yourself those questions. This isn't a test. I don't want answers. What I want you to is to contemplate those questions. And here's why. Because you're going to be unprepared for what is coming. If you don't ask yourself those questions and finally overcome your fear to go there where your ego doesn't want to go, okay, you are unprepared. You cannot grow. Now, sometimes in my forecast, I say something along those lines. We are being forced to grow. Because there's nothing forcing us to grow, because it's free will. We have to choose that. But if your overall alignment is, yes, I want to grow. Yes, I want to evolve. And yet, at the first impotence, thinking about fear and not even allowing yourself to go one step deeper and asking yourself, what am I so afraid of? This isn't about the right answer. This is about the right question. How can you make choices that lead you to growth? The message that you're receiving here is that you need to ask yourself those questions. You need to know the nature of the forces that are working in you. Because if you are unconscious, what happens with people or organisms or companies that are unconscious? They just get swept away.
Somebody tells you what to do if you don't decide
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, very good conclusion, Emer, because that's exactly what's going to happen, and that's exactly what already happened. We already had a preview in the last 3 years, and that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to follow the first person who tells you, you got to do this, without thinking. No question inside. Why? Why should it? No, wait, let me feel into this. No, this doesn't feel right. Maybe it's because I don't have enough information. Maybe it's because I haven't had enough time yet to contemplate it. Don't matter. But if you don't have that as like an instant response to something or somebody telling you from the outside what to do, you're not prepared. Because that's where we're headed. And that's not some kind of conspiracy theory. This is visible everywhere. Okay? And the only way to break through that is to consciously align yourself to truth. Yeah? To that spiritual impulse in you that wants you to feel into things, that wants you to see the larger purpose of things, and then share it. Allow others to see it too. Sorry, I'm getting so intense here today. Obviously, I'm already in August energies, etherically, so I have a little bit of an immediacy here, and I want you to know that I'm not criticizing you. I am trying to wake you up. This isn't about spiritual knowledge, guys. It's about the balance. It's about the application. It's about the everyday decision, the integrity that comes with that, the intentiveness, mastering your will. Without these contemplations, without making the unconscious conscious, you cannot master your will. And if you are not mastering your will, somebody or something else will. Those are the times that we're in. Well, actually, we've always been in that time. It's the overall task of humanity, the overall evolution of consciousness. So yeah, we're just at another inflection point now. Yeah, and August is going to give us a very good portion of that, because that's how the rest of the year is going to go. Okay, so if you have been struggling with being stuck in stuff, or if you are stuck in your anxious thoughts, or if you're stuck in your physical or material stuff, okay, get ready for this getting worse. Unless you are breaking through that. How can asking myself spiritual question help me with my physical pain? Well, that's what we teach here in self-healing. How can I ask myself spiritual question help me with my anxiety? Well, that's what we do here in this community. We meditate together. We talk about things together. We talk about relationships. We talk about everyday life things. We're not sitting on some kind of mountaintop or ivory tower just sort of preaching, the ideal. No, this is not what self-healing is about. Self-healing is about internalizing it. You doing the work. You are doing the healing. And that needs to be clear to all of us now, that we have to step into that self-responsibility, that we have to want to heal, because healing is the same as evolving. Healing is not about eradicating the bad stuff, the shortcomings, the transgressions, or the imperfections. Healing is about moving into a higher version of myself, into the higher potential. Because the very force that is holding me back from that, yeah, the fear and all its consorts, is what makes me sick. All right, guys. I should probably not do energy talks right before an energetic tune-up, because I get very, very intense in those times. Give me some feedback. Maybe you like this intensity. In the past, people usually kind of got freaked out a little bit. But if you come here on Wednesdays, you're going to get the all of me. Yeah. And so I don't know if I put this on YouTube or not.
I think the kick up the backside is a good thing. The reason I'm not contributing more and I came on late is one of the calls a few days ago, you spoke, I think, directly to me to say, just stop the doing, just stop sort of the hamster
machine.
wheel is going nowhere. The machine.
Yeah.
So yesterday I did that. I actually, here in Ireland, it was a lovely day. Today's a horrible day. That's the way it works here. One lovely day, one summer day, and then it's like winter. Yesterday, I thought I'd go down to the beach for a swim. And instead of just going for a swim, I lay on the beach on the towel for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, took the afternoon. And it's one of the best things I did. That's where I can be creative. And instead of the usual machine. Today I'm back in the machine thing because I had, clients and going on my way to see a client. But I realized just as I tuned in there and I could hear the frustration, you know what I mean? And I said, yeah, well, I'm frustrated too, because again, I'm in my silly busy zone, that ridiculous busy thing. It just seems so ridiculous to me now.
Yes, it is. It is, and it is unconscious, okay? So the hamster wheel makes you unconscious, but we all have to compromise that in our life. So it's about the balance, okay? If you have to do hamster wheel for 8 hours a day, you better make sure that the other hours of the rest of your day, counterbalance that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not about being perfect or not doing it, It's whenever I talk about the nature of darkness, okay, people freak out. Because they have this like weird understanding of that the devil is working on them. No, that's your own ego. That's your darkness. So, in your case, Emer, no, and I'm not criticizing anybody here. This is
I know,
understanding. Okay. Yeah, and the bigger purpose, guys, the bigger purpose is to share, because each and every one of us that have these illuminations, yeah, we can grow by sharing that with others. We are, freeing up a little bit of the way. We all serve a function here. Yeah, so when we face our darkness, okay, then all it is like what you just did. Yeah, I realize that I'm caught in a hamster wheel. Yeah, and that is what keeps me unconscious. Yes, and that is what's making me sick. Okay, you just faced your darkness. Good job. Yeah. And now comes the intention. Now comes the mastering your will. Now comes the choice. Oh, what am I drawing out of that? What am I doing differently now? All August is going to be about that. Correction. Yeah. So facing your darkness is easy. You just got to make it a habit, right? Aneta faced her darkness by saying, well, realize a part of me that kind of likes victimhood because I don't have to be responsible. I mean, she didn't say it in those words. Sorry, Aneta, for paraphrasing. Yeah. That's facing the darkness. Okay. And now something's got to happen. It's not enough to just yeah, I realized this, and then I get swamped over by my own darkness, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so bad, I'm all dark. That's when the force and the forces of darkness have caught you. You don't realize the purpose of facing your darkness. The purpose of facing your darkness is not to feel bad about yourself. It's to recognize what needs to be done, what needs to be changed, yeah, in order to balance this out. I hope this message gets across. So, Emer, go to the beach more often, or take a walk in nature, or whatever.
Yes.
Not everybody has a beach, and change your circumstances, change your conditions such that it becomes more natural for you to do that. Get back to the horses,
Definitely.
take
Yeah.
this out. No, these are all things that
Definitely.
just make you want to do this naturally. Yeah. It's not like you've got to put it on your schedule, you know. Go love nature. That's not something you need to put on your schedule. That's something that you need to internalize to a point where you can really feel this, that you want to go out and balance out some of these things that came in through the day.
Yeah.
So this is an ongoing process. So there is no obviously like, oh, I've done this and now I'm ready or finished or something. Yeah, growth is something that continues in a rhythmic phase. So I'm just telling you guys, get ready, buckle up. August is big correction month. Okay. Now, correction for those who, see the opportunity in facing their darkness. Obviously, detrimental for those who are blind to darkness, because it pulls them deeper into it. Okay. All these fears that we just talked about. Yeah. So make it a habit, guys. Make it a habit of facing your inner darkness and balancing it out every day. Little things. Little things. Yeah. Okay. All right. Love you guys. And many of you are going to be in the energetic tune-up session. So there I can be a little more personal, and reflect about your personal challenges. Yeah. I see you again next Monday, I suppose. Okay. Thank you.